I had made up my mind. It was time to confront Mordenna once and for all. But there were still one or two things I wanted to take care of before I committed any men to such an ambitious operation. Most notably, we were going to need more time and resources to finish upgrading our armor. The Templars were working on a new upgrade for our sniper rifles, so I sent out one of our engineers to help them complete it, with Alexander and Tyson acting as her bodyguards, just in case there was any trouble. Our salvaging team continued following up on various potential leads, this time locating a stash of abandoned aircrafts that had been hidden in South America. While none of the vehicles were usable, they still provided a valuable source of materials. Then we got a lucky break. We had already heard the rumors that the Elders were planning to somehow enhance the Chosen, and that was bad news given that we were planning on confronting one of them in the near future. Fortunately, one of our more tech-minded contacts in New Brazil had pinpointed the relay that the Elders were planning to use, so we had a narrow window of opportunity to disrupt their plans. Lily and Tygan were both insistent that I use this as an opportunity to field test some of their more esoteric creations. I reluctantly allowed their murder bot to tag along, but the rest of the squad was made up of more, conventional soldiers. John Morgan was our medic, and I made sure to assign him that mobile brain surgery device that Tygan had come up with. Zoltan Major was the squad's heavy, and again I made sure to assign him that horrifying berserker suit that Tygan had designed. I rounded out the team with Rorschach, Malachi, and Chiron, all of whom seemed quite relieved when they were assigned normal pieces of equipment. It made for a somewhat unsettling squad lineup, more of a mad scientist's workshop than a crack team of commandos. Well, at least they wouldn't be lacking when it came to firepower.
Shen came across an odd series of transmissions coming out of this region. We've narrowed it down to a hidden alien communications relay transmitting to the Advent network. We can't pass up any opportunities to disrupt their progress on the latest operation, so we're moving in to take out that relay. Neutralize any hostile contacts near the site, lock it down, and destroy the target. Menace 1-5, the communications relay is up ahead. Move in and destroy the target.
Position is obscured.
Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to episode 15. Today we're starting off with another search and destroy mission. We've actually done this type of mission before. All we need to do is get across the map and take out that alien relay before the timer finishes counting down. Whoops, though we've already got visual on our first enemy pod. There's obviously an Archon up there, but I didn't get a good look at who was with him. It might have been a Lancer and a shield bearer.
I am trusting you.
Well, the timer won't start counting down until we get spotted, so let's go ahead and start moving our guys up. And hopefully we can get into position to ambush them within the next turn or two.
Getting it done.
10-4.
There are actually two pipes leading up to the overpass. I guess we'll set our guys up near both of them. That way we can get up there a little faster. And if memory serves, the Spark can actually just jump up there without needing to climb on anything. Well, that enemy pod isn't budging, so I guess we're going to have to take care of them sooner rather than later. Let's go ahead and start bringing our guys up onto the overpass and... why can't I... Oh, right. Chiron is blocking the way. Well, let's move Chiron first. I'm tempted to move Chiron all the way across the overpass. That way he could look down at the street below to see if there are any more enemy pods. But for now, it's probably a better idea to have him help us with the pod we can already see. We'll bring him in close and have him lob his claymore over there.
A delicate placement.
Now I need someone to go up there and set it off. I'd like to use one of Zoltan's grenades, but I'm not sure I can actually move him close enough to hit them with a grenade. Not if I want to keep him in cover, anyway. Well, let's get him up there and find out. At worst, we'll just spend an extra turn setting up before we ambush these guys. Fortunately, it looks like they're just within range of a grenade. Though, this might actually be a good time to use our rocket instead. No, I think I prefer the grenade's wider area of effect. That way we can also try to blow up that car for a bit of extra splash damage. Nice, that actually just took out the Lancer and the shield bearer. We definitely shouldn't have any trouble taking out the Archon by itself. In fact, that thing's so hurt I think Rorschach might actually be able to finish it off in one shot. There we go, nice and efficient.
Moving out.
Now let's go ahead and bring the rest of the squad up.
Location confirmed.
Testing this unit's agility.
Come get some.
Okay, now let's just bring Chiron over to the edge of the overpass and we should be able to get a good view of our objective. Though I'm actually having a bit of trouble finding an approach that won't light Chiron on fire.
I will reposition.
You cannot run.
And we've got visual on another enemy pod. Looks like 2 mutons and I'm not sure what that other thing is. A Spectre, maybe? Well, the timer's running, so let's see if we can take these guys out before the end of the turn.
Take this.
That's some nice cinematic camera work there. Well, we definitely didn't do a lot of damage to them, but at least we stripped off all their armor. It looks like Chiron is basically guaranteed to be able to kill this muton, so let's go ahead and start off with that. Nice.
The only fate possible for aliens.
Oh, and he's still in stealth. Now let's see what else we can do here. Unfortunately, Malachi is probably too far away to actually hit any of these guys. Let's just go ahead and set him on Overwatch.
On Overwatch.
Now let's go ahead and bring up Morgan.
Moving to designated position.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have visual either,
Accessing system.
though he can see that scanning tower, so let's check that out real quick. Squad sight. Definitely not very useful for us at the moment. We'll go ahead and ignore that.
Accessing system. Overwatch.
At this point, it's obvious we're not going to take out that pod before the end of the turn, So let's just get everyone else on Overwatch.
Moving to position. Affirmative. Covering now.
I'm as graceful as a gazelle. I am ever vigilant.
That's definitely some pretty odd movement on their part, but it does make it easier to finish them off. Well, let's go ahead and start moving our guys into position. First, let's bring someone up to see if there are any other pods out there.
Got the objective in sight.
Commander, we have a positive ID on the alien relay.
Since it looks clear, let's go ahead and bring the spark down, then we can hit these guys with a rocket.
I'm compelled to agree.
Okay, that finishes off the other Muton. Now we just need to finish off the Spectre as well. Let's go ahead and take that shot. Oh, very nice. He drops it with a critical hit. Well, that takes care of pod number 2. Now the rest of our soldiers can just start firing on that relay instead. Though we do know that there's at least one more enemy pod out there, so it might be a good idea to set a couple of the guys on Overwatch.
Affirmative. Covering now. Moving out. Moving to Overwatch.
No one will cross.
Well, no sign of that enemy pod, so let's keep hitting the relay. And one more hit should finish it off.
Menace 1-5, we've confirmed destruction of the relay. The alien transmission is down. Eliminate any remaining hostiles and move to evac.
And now we have to wander around blindly looking for the last enemy pod. Great. Since Rorschach and Malachi have already gone, let's go ahead and put everyone else on Overwatch. We'll move next turn.
I'll monitor that area.
Come and get
Give
some.
me time to reload!
I am on watch.
And let's bring Chiron up on point.
I go where I am needed.
It looks clear so far, but let's go ahead and have him dash up to elevated terrain. Let's go ahead and consolidate the rest of the squad. There's not much point in moving them around until we have a better idea of where the last enemy pod is.
Let's do this! Heading there now!
I'll comply for now.
Moving on target location.
I'm on it. Scanning. Moving to Overwatch.
Overwatch engaged.
Affirmative. Covering now.
I can hear them moving.
Oh, there they are. I guess they're tucked behind the building that the objective was hidden in. Let's go ahead and start moving Chiron a little closer, see if we can get a visual on them.
I go where you tell me.
Well, still nothing, but since we have a general idea of where they are, let's start moving up the rest of the squad.
Heading out.
We don't want them to fall too far behind Chiron.
confirmed. On the move. I'm on the move.
I feel light on my feet.
Affirmative. Moving out.
And now let's get everyone back on Overwatch.
Moving to Overwatch.
Got it covered.
This unit scatters on.
Overwatch.
Let's go ahead and move Chiron up again.
As you order, Commander.
They must be tucked into that side street, I guess. Well, it's only a matter of time until we see them, so let's go ahead and get the rest of the squad into a better attack position.
On the move.
Physical exertion outweighed.
Orders confirmed. Moving out.
Reapers are always vigilant.
Location confirmed. Orders confirmed. Moving out.
Sensors at maximum sensitivity.
On Overwatch. Scanning.
Come get some. Our enemy is on the move.
And they're definitely still over there. Well, let's bring Chiron up. Again.
I will go. I have sight beyond vision.
The aliens used this to defeat most of Earth's heavy conventional forces. It can punch through armor just as easily as it chews through infantry. Be careful.
Wow, that's definitely a heavy pod. That's our first sectopod, and he's backed up by a heavy mech and a shield bearer. Well, let's see if we can... Oh, wow. The game is actually telling me I have clear line of sight to launch this rocket straight into that enemy pod. I'm not so sure about that, though. It sure looks like there are obstructions in the way.
Launching.
Well, let's give it a shot. Wow. Well, that definitely didn't do a lot of damage, but it did trim off a whole lot of armor. That'll definitely help, but there's no way we're going to be able to take all of these guys down in a single turn.
You will never hide from me.
Unfortunately, even with some of its armor trimmed off, that heavy mech is still pretty robust. I guess we could try moving Malachi up. He might be able to reach it with his plasma grenade. No, he's way too far. Let's just go ahead and start taking shots at this thing.
That armor's tough.
Now, who to follow up with? Rorschach also has a grenade, but he's also too far away. Though he might be able to reach if I move him down to the window at ground level. Yeah, let's go ahead and try that.
I'm on it.
Still just out of reach.
Overwatch.
Alright, I think we're just going to have to set everyone into Overwatch for now.
On my way. Scanning.
Actually, the Spark does have line of sight on that elite mech, and with Overdrive it can attack up to 3 times in a single turn. I guess that's worth a shot.
Their armor isn't bad either.
Wow, I can't believe that worked.
Observe how it's done. This weapon is empty.
I see everything.
We've still got 2 enemies on the field, but at least they're slowed down by tactical analysis. But we definitely need to take down that sectopod quickly. Those things are obnoxiously powerful.
Win off the armor.
Okay, it looks like the sectopod's warming up its wrath cannon. That's actually a good thing, because it gives us a full turn to take it down. Let's start by hitting it with some more attacks that will strip off the rest of that armor. And now we just need to hit it with everything we've got.
This unit is now reloading.
Scratch 1 sectopod. Oh, and I got an achievement too.
The shadows fail us.
That just leaves us with that shield bearer over there, and by himself he's not much of a threat. I don't think I can actually take him out this turn, but let's see what we can do here. Oh, well, I can flank him from here. Not that it actually helped. And unfortunately, it looks like Rorschach is too far away to do a blade rush. We'll just have to take him out next turn.
I'm all over it.
It looks like the shield bearer's gone on the defensive. No surprise there. Let's go ahead and scoop up this loot real quick, and then we'll take him out.
Heading out.
Nice. Scopes and expanded magazines. I can definitely use that.
Target asset located.
Now, I'm going to have to hit this guy at least twice to finish him off, so let's see if any of my other guys have a good shot at him. Let's try bringing the spark up a little closer.
It feels good to move around. Missed. Missed! I'll rip your damn head.
Well, that didn't work, and the spark's not taking it well. Looks like John can flank him again, so let's give him another shot. That takes out the shield bearer's shield and sets him up for the kill. And Rorschach sends him right off the building. That guy's got style.
Target eliminated.
Status confirmed. All hostiles are down and the area is secure. Status confirmed. Mission accomplished.
I would like to assure the citizens of Advent that our peacekeepers will stop at nothing to prevent further attacks by criminal elements such as the one that occurred today. The Elders have total faith in our ability to overcome any and all threats to our peace.
expected something of a learning curve for our new recruits, but they've done a remarkable job, Commander.
3 promotions to dole out, so let's see here. John will pick up Medical Protocol. Zoltan Major will get Suppression, of course. And Malachi will pick up Lightning Hands. Pretty straightforward. I'll admit, Operation Moonwitch had gone significantly more smoothly than I had originally anticipated. The new equipment had performed admirably. Even that robot had managed to pull its considerable weight, though it did seem to have a bit of an attitude problem. Regardless, our team came back in one piece. We had managed to recruit another promising new engineer, and we had managed to disrupt the Elder's plans. Hopefully, it would make our raid on Mordenna's hideout a little bit easier to manage. Speaking of which, we still had more preparation to take care of. Alexander and Tyson had finished their escort mission, and our engineering team was already upgrading all of the sniper rifles in our armory. Tygan had also finished drawing up a plethora of new designs for various power armors that he hoped our troops would be able to use. While they did seem very promising, it was also going to take a huge amount of resources to actually manufacture all that armor. Since we were going to need all the supplies we could get, I sent out Corporal Morgan and Recruit Varnus to raid another Advent munitions cache. I even sent along a member of our science staff, just to make sure that they got all the good stuff. In the meantime, I ordered Tygan to start breaking down that Advent sectopod that we had managed to capture during our last mission. Tygan and Lily had already gotten some pretty impressive results with their murder bot, so I could only imagine what sort of new toys they'd come up with after studying a literal walking tank. Afterwards, I swung through the Psi Labs again to check on Naz and his caretakers. As usual, there were stacks of papers about his new fantastical abilities. Tygan once again reminded me that he could upgrade the Psi Lab to allow for more test subjects, and I reassured him that it was something I planned to do, once we had enough resources to spare. Tygan was disappointed, of course, but I had already moved on to other things. The engineering team had finally finished assembling our infirmary, and I briefly toured the new facilities. It was fully automated and would drastically improve our men's recovery times, as long as we had an engineer on hand to make sure the equipment was working properly. Some of the more experimental equipment could even treat things like phobias and other mental conditions. Once Tygan had reassured me that it wouldn't actually lobotomize our men, I started scheduling some of the more troubled soldiers for treatment. Unfortunately, Advent was taking full advantage of the time we were giving them. We had managed to disrupt some of their plans, but not all of them, and soon we got word that they had recovered most of the data they had lost during our previous raids on the Project Avatar facilities. While I hated to divert resources from our impending confrontation with Mordenna, I had to acknowledge that we were going to need to take steps to delay the Avatar project again, just in case our raid on Mordenna's hideout went badly. Still, we were definitely going to want to do this as quickly and quietly as possible, and Bradford agreed, dubbing it Operation Ghost Steed. Since we had to assume that Advent had drastically ramped up the security on their R&D facilities, I assigned some of our best operatives to the squad. I chose Mox to lead the team, with Mark and Don backing him up. We were definitely going to need a lot of heavy support too, so I also assigned Demon and Vlad to the squad. And since this operation was likely to get messy, I sent along Karn as well. These were all very capable operatives, each of them thoroughly tested in the fields of battle. I was hoping that meant that this would be another nice, smooth operation. In retrospect, given the sort of monsters that Advent had started deploying by that point, I should have probably known better.
Local resistance forces tipped us to the location of an alien facility tied to the Avatar project operating out of this area. We're going in to shut it down, permanently. Approach the target and place the X4 charges at the designated position. Then move to a safe distance for detonation. If we can take out that facility, we might just buy ourselves some time. West 1-5. Target coordinates are locked in. Move to designated position and place the X4 charges.
Our position is masked.
And welcome back. Looks like we're wrapping up today with another facility raid.
Orders confirmed. On the move.
This is definitely going to be a tough fight now that Advent has started rolling out tougher units like sectopods and Andromedans. We also know that one of the alien rulers is here, so we're definitely going to have to stay on our guard. I think our best bet is probably to get the squad up on that cliff over there.
Moving to designated position.
So let's start sprinting everyone in that direction.
10-4.
Location confirmed.
Go, go, go. Got it. Moving quickly.
Standing fast.
Okay, well, that's definitely a sectopod moving around out there. Just one more reason to stay on our guard. Let's start pushing up onto that cliff over there.
Orders confirmed. Moving out.
Man, that sectopod's definitely not subtle.
A confident approach. Double time. Stepping off.
Oops, I accidentally moved Mark into an uncovered position. Hopefully that won't be a problem.
Copy.
I guess he just didn't want to get too close to that cactus.
Got it covered.
Moving ahead. Maintaining position.
We've got visual on our first enemy pod. Just an officer and a trooper. That's about as basic as you can
There's an
get.
Advent captain nearby. We should attempt to disable it with the skulljack.
Tygan has a point. This is a good chance for us to finally skulljack an officer.
Moving to designated coordinates.
Let's spend this turn moving our guys up to the edge of the cliff and keep our fingers crossed and hope those guys move a little closer.
Understood. Moving out. Understood. Moving out. I go.
Good enough. Let's see what these guys do.
I will not waver. Moving to Overwatch. Overwatch. I'm on it.
Holding position.
Nice. They actually have moved a little closer, but now I can't see the trooper. I'd really like to pick off the trooper before we skulljack the officer. Let's move Mark up a little closer and then we'll end our turn again. Hopefully these guys will move into a better position.
Position confirmed.
I'm on it. Eyes on the prize. Eyes on moving to Overwatch. Covering out.
Well, they're moving in the wrong direction now, but at least the trooper's back in sight. Let's go ahead and pick him off and see where the officer goes. Blood for the blood god. Nice.
X-ray neutralized. We're in the sight.
Oh, and he came closer. That actually went about as well as we could have hoped for. Let's get Mark in there with the skulljack.
have complete access to the Advent Psionic Network. I have dedicated our systems to processing the new data, but we will need to work fast. It is only a matter of time before they detect our intrusion.
And that's our first codex.
Commander, that appears to be the codex responsible for safeguarding the alien data stores. We'll have to neutralize it if we intend to recover the data.
Good. Weapons hot. We've got our target.
Shoot, I was hoping we'd be able to take on the codex by itself, but now we've got 2 mutons and an archon to handle too. Okay, well, we need to take out the codex first, because those things get annoying very quickly. They can teleport, they can clone themselves, they can disable your weapons with remote psychic attacks. That's all stuff we really just don't want to have to deal with. I'm tempted to move Mox up so he'll be in a flanking position, but I can still hear that sectopod moving around out there. I'm a bit worried he's going to end up triggering a 3rd pod. Let's just take out that codex and we can flank it from here instead.
Anything like this. The Codex is projecting multiple copies of itself into our dimension.
Now I've got 2 weakened codexes on the field, but fortunately Mox has 2 attacks, so let's see if he can take them both out in a single turn. There's one.
We deny our creators.
And there's 2. Nicely done.
Excellent work, Commander. It appears some physical remnant of the Codex was left behind when it dissipated. Hopefully, it will provide some insight into the aliens' ongoing plans.
With the codex out of the way, now we can focus on the mutons. The Archon is almost certainly going to use blazing pinions on its first turn, so we don't have to worry about him until turn 2.
Frag out!
As I suspected, blazing pinions.
Cover my flank! Hostile flanking maneuver.
Oh no.
I believe this would be Subject Gamma.
Bowen created a Viper King. Just what we needed. This is the shot we've been waiting for. Take that thing down before it has a chance to run.
That thing just showed up at the worst possible moment. Now that there's an alien ruler on the field, we have to use every action as economically as possible, because that Viper King gets an action after every one of our actions. Normally I'd start focus firing on the Viper King, but we've still got that muton on Overwatch, and we can't leave our guys under these missiles. Okay, well, first we need to take out that muton. Don is immune to Overwatch, so we're going to move him in closer and he'll take care of that for us.
Set him up, knock him down. Rolling out.
Yikes. Yeah, we'll also have to watch the Viper King and adapt accordingly.
That's it.
Okay, the Viper King just moved into a flanking position on Mark. That means we probably need to prioritize getting him to a safer position. But let's take a look at all of our options here before we commit ourselves to an action. I guess we'll see if we can soften up this Archon a bit.
Thrashing!
No luck there.
My failure is my own.
Mox could grapple as a free movement, but that can only move him to higher terrain, and that's the exact wrong direction. Okay, I guess we'll move Mark to a better position.
Here I come.
And the ruler moved up, but it's not attacking anyone yet. That's good. Let's go ahead and start softening it up.
Armor still holding. The concentrated breath of that creature is reading at incredibly low temperatures. You are at risk of severe tissue damage if exposed. Good to know, Doctor.
Well, alright then. Half our squad just got frozen in place. And now it's got Mark locked down. It's all up to you, Mox. He's definitely not going to drop it with his gun, so let's get him in there and see what he can do with his Ripper.
I take a new approach.
Okay, well, the bad news is that half our squad just got hit by missiles. The good news is that Mox freed Mark and managed to stunlock the Viper King for 4 actions. So that theoretically gives us a little time to deal with the Archon. Oh, and Mox hit it again. Yeah, since the rulers essentially break the rules of the game, they just don't seem to combine well with things like perks and status effects. Well, this thing's locked down for several more actions, so let's get Mark to a more defensible position.
Tired of waiting around.
And now we use teamwork so Don can take another crack at that Archon.
We have nothing to fear.
What? That thing was still supposed to be stunned. Come on, XCOM, you used to be cool. Well, we've only got 1 action left anyway, so we might as well use it on the Archon.
Barely registered.
And, okay. Oh, weird. I think it's waiting for me to give Mox actions, but obviously I can't because he's currently bound. I guess I'll have to manually end the turn then.
Alright, that one hurt.
Request medical support.
Okay, Don just took a nasty hit, Mox is being crushed to death, but the rest of our squad just thawed out. First, let's do something about that Viper King. Actually, instead of hitting it with lightning hands, let's hit it with something that'll strip off that armor first. That'll do it. And now Karn can start taking shots at it. Let's go ahead and hit it again. Once it's lost half its health, it should try to flee. And Mox got another shot at it, but I guess he was bound to miss one of those melee attacks eventually.
Don't let that thing escape. It's trying to open another rift.
There's the escape portal, so that means we get one more attack on it before it can flee. I guess we'll let Mox have the honors. And it's gone. Now let's see if we can finally finish off this Archon. Nope, yet another dodge. Fortunately, we've still got at least a few attacks, so if we have to graze it to death, then we will.
It's still up.
There we go. Vlad finally lands a solid hit and finishes it off.
All terminated.
Now let's burn off Mark's actions, tossing out some much-needed heals.
A 10th baton.
Go patch him up.
Mark's still got 2 charges in his medkit, so let's heal up Vlad and Karn as well,
Heal him up.
and then we'll start moving the squad up. We've still got a sectopod to deal with.
And now must reload now.
What's over there? Come get some. Heading out. I'm on it.
And let's get set up for contact.
Moving to Overwatch. Reloaded. We're clean to go. All set.
No sign of that sectopod yet, so let's start pushing towards the facility. If we're lucky, we can set the explosives and call in the evac without ever seeing it. But just to be on the safe side, let's make sure we're hugging cover wherever possible.
Moving there.
I'm on it. I'm trusting you here. Heading out. Let's move already. Overwatch.
Moving to Overwatch.
Affirmative. Covering now. Overwatch. Moving to Overwatch.
It is under my watch.
I don't think we're alone out here.
In position.
That thing's definitely close, but we're still not seeing it, so I think at this point we're going to push up a little closer. Then we'll risk darting someone in there, probably Dawn, to see if we can set the explosives and run.
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah, our objective is right on the other side of this door, so this might just work.
Finally. Moving to position.
I run.
Moving to position. On the move. Come get some. Scanning.
Come get some. Covered.
Okay, let's crack this door open and see if anyone's inside.
Menace 1-5, you're near the target position.
Looks clear, so let's get Dawn in there.
I guess that'll be okay.
Those appear to be some sort of incubation chambers. No doubt part of their system to keep Advent well supplied with reinforcements.
When it comes to the aliens, it's always one big experiment.
He said to the operative wearing a suit of armor made from chopped up alien parts.
Menace 1-5, status confirmed. X4 charges are armed. Move to the extraction point for immediate evac.
Okay, let's call in the evac zone and we'll bail out next turn.
Request immediate evac. I await their approach.
On Overwatch. If you say so. Got it covered.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Oh, it looks like we've got an Advent reinforcement pod coming in, and I wouldn't mind some extra experience points, so let's stick around for one more turn. Let's just get everyone clustered around the evac zone, set them into Overwatch, and see what happens.
Got it covered. Okay, I'll go.
Oh yeah. Scanning. Locked and loaded.
Got it covered. I'm on it.
Overwatch. In cover.
Flanking us!
Nice, Vlad's already netted us one free kill.
Eliminated.
But unfortunately we wasted most of our other Overwatch attacks on that priest, and you can't kill him in a single turn. Whoops, and there's that sectopod. It's definitely time to go.
Armor still holding.
Well, we're definitely evacing this turn, but everyone's still going to get one more attack before they jump back on the Sky Ranger. We'll start off by hitting those guys with Dawn's rocket.
Launching. I'm out of here.
Now we need to start moving people into the evac zone, but that heavy mech is on Overwatch, so we need to take care of that first. Okay, let's go ahead and have Mox use his Wrath ability.
Avenge the fallen. Tactical movement.
Nice, that takes care of the Overwatch, and as a bonus we also stunned the mech.
As you command. Tactical retreat.
Oh, right. I guess pulling Mox off the board actually lifted the status condition he inflicted. Yet another little oddity about the way XCOM 2 is programmed. Well, let's get Karn out of here next. He can take a couple of shots with his pistol on his way out. Looks like he should be able to take out that purifier, so let's go ahead and do that. Oh, right, sorry. Blood for the Blood God. There we go.
Target neutralized. Let's go.
I guess we might as well use up the last of our grenades, too. I'm hoping if I can place this grenade just right, I might actually be able to bring down that roof.
Bombs away!
Well, that didn't work. Get out of there, demon. You tried your best.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, it looks like a narrow strip of the roof's edge survived. I was really hoping we'd be able to take out that shield bearer before we left, but at this point I think we've netted about all the free kills we're going to get. Let's at least see if we can finish off this mech.
Get ready for a surprise.
Oof, not with low damage like that.
Ready to boogie. Let's do this.
Well, I suppose there's always the chance Mark might land a critical hit. Oh well, let's get out of here.
I'm out of here. Menace 1-5, status confirmed. X4 charges detonating.
Man, that was definitely a rough fight. Thank goodness I finally started building that infirmary.
The speaker commended loyal citizens today for standing up to those who would abandon our values for those of the old world. The remarks followed a moment of silence for peacekeepers slain by XCOM dissidents.
False vision. That is the purpose of all skirmishers. Until it is done, there can be no other path for us.
Let's see here. Mox has enough action points to grab 2 abilities. And his new powers are Reckoning, which lets him make a Ripjack slash attack, Waylay, which lets him take multiple shots during Overwatch, and Volatile Mix, which grants +2 damage to his grenades. That's not bad. I do like the idea of giving him more melee attacks, but I gave him tactical rigging a while ago, so I might as well boost his ability to use grenades. Yeah. We'll give him Volatile Mix and we'll pick up Total Combat. That'll give him a little more versatility in the field. And it looks like Vlad Kapesh went up a level, so let's go ahead and give him Heavy Ordnance. That way he can bring more grenades into battle. Operation Ghost Steed had been successful, but only just barely. The Advent Authority was clearly done taking us lightly, and every single one of our men had been injured while fighting their way through the nightmarish creatures that had been guarding the facility. I'll admit, it did give me second thoughts about raiding Mordenna's hideout. There was no telling what kind of monstrous creatures Advent had assigned to watch over her. But it really was too late to back out now. We had already spent all of our resources building up to this moment. Morgan and Varnus had already returned from their supply raid, and following my earlier instructions, they had delivered everything to Lily's engineering team. Full-scale production of our new power armor was underway, and we already had enough suits to outfit our elite strike team. The only thing left to do was to decide which soldiers to send into what could very well end up being an impossible fight.